it's Micheline with Fit and Healthy for Yourself, and some of you might know, but that I've been running for the last 2 to 3 years. I pretty much have fallen in love with the sport, and I do it now on a regular basis, and I participate in quite a few races. I have actually 4 scheduled for this year, and I will be trying my first full marathon as of next year. So, however, when I started running, I was still following the traditional American standard diet, moderately carbs, protein, low fat, portion control, the usual thing. So, however, since then I've been diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. So I really had to play with my nutrition to find a way to keep my symptoms in check. And I have since then discovered that my body is gluten sensitive, and I also don't really do well on sugar. So since I discovered that, I have adopted the ketogenic diet, which has worked well for me. It is a low carb diet, high fat, moderately protein. So this has done well for me because for my body, my symptoms are down and I feel a lot better. However, you might now think, how does that work with running? Because running is an endurance sport that requires lots and lots of energy. And usually runners get that energy from lots and lots of carbs. Especially when you hear a runner preparing for a race, they usually eat lots of carbs the day before or the 2 days before, which is then called carb loading. They will eat lots of pasta and lots of bread in order to get their energy up. And they will also bring lots of fuel with them during the race, usually in the form of gels or Gatorade, sugary drinks, or some kind of little sugary candies, something to bring along. So, and then they will carb load again after the race to replenish their energy that they have used up during the race. So how does that really work? Because when we eat carbs, our body converts it into glycogen, and then that is used for energy. The problem is that our body can only store about 2 to 3 hours worth of energy. That's why we need to replenish every 2 to 3 hours by eating in order to get our energy levels back up. And that's why you also kind of become hungry every 2 to 3 hours. So, so how does that work for a runner who doesn't eat carbs? So basically what it means, we don't, ketogenic runners don't eat any carbs. Basically because our body has the ability to burn fat. However, when given a choice, our body will always go and burn carbs first. Only when there are no carbs coming in does our body realize it has to go to a different fuel source, which is fat. And we have plenty of fat in our body. I'm sure we all do. So, and the good thing is our body can actually store 40,000 calories worth of fat, while it can only store 2,000 calories of carbs. So as you can see, there is plenty of energy available. So basically what this means is when you don't eat carbs, your body learns that it can just use fat as a fuel, and it will start burning that. And basically that also results in you having a steady stream of energy. You do not need to eat anything before the race. You don't need to eat during the race. You don't need to eat after the race because you have enough energy to keep yourself going. Fueling for a full marathon, because that's a lot of hours, is necessary because your muscles kind of tire out. But for a regular 3 hour, 4 hour race, you don't need to fuel. You don't need to eat before the race. You don't need to carb load. You really don't need to do anything different. And the benefits of a keto diet is that you have a steady stream of energy. Your mind is a lot clearer. You don't need to constantly eat. And your muscles actually don't quite get as sore as they would on a regular carb diet. So this all sounds great in theory, but how does this really look like in practice? So when you go on a keto diet, the first month, maybe even the first 6 weeks, especially as a runner, will be very tough. Because the problem is that your body needs to realize it's not getting carbs. And that's not a switch that you can just turn on in an instant. It needs to learn, it needs to adjust. So when you start cutting out the carbs, your body is going to resist because it's not used to this. And it's going to think, oh, in a few days, I'm going to get carbs back. It's just a phase. No, it's not. So you need to keep at it. And for the first week, first 2 weeks, you might actually really feel very tired. You have no energy. You will feel maybe some headaches, some nausea, some dizziness. That can easily be corrected by just keeping your electrolytes up and staying hydrated. Because when you don't eat a lot of carbs, your body also doesn't retain a lot of water. So therefore, you need to replenish your water and your electrolytes a bit more often than on a regular carb diet. So, and you might also feel some brain fog. You're going to feel off. You're going to especially feel tired. But because, your body has no energy. It doesn't have anything to burn while it's learning to look for the other fuel source. So the first 2 weeks will be tough. And if you continue to run during that time, you will find yourself might not even be motivated to run because you're too tired. Your pace will be a lot slower. You might even hit the wall where you completely run out of energy. I've hit the wall running downhill. I had to stop because I had no energy to even run downhill. However, you have to put trust and faith in your body to figure out what it's doing. After a few weeks, it is starting to realize we're doing the switch, we're not getting carbs, we're looking at other fuel sources, and that's when it will start burning fat. And once it becomes fat adapted, that means it's getting used to burning fat as fuel, your energy will come back, it will go through the roof. Your mind will be a lot clearer. You actually will not be as hungry because you have steady energy, so you don't need to, your body is not constantly looking for fuel. So you can actually go a lot longer without eating. Believe me, it's a game changer not having to figure out what to eat every 2 hours. So you can run at a fasted state. I tend to run in the morning with not eating anything. I just get out of bed, have a little bit of water, and get out running. Your pace will improve. First, it will go back to what you had pre-keto, and then it actually will improve. You will be able to run longer. So all of your performance will improve. And also your muscle soreness will actually go down. You will notice that your muscles aren't quite as sore as they were before. I actually ran my last half marathon. I ran my first marathon on the traditional diet. And I ran my second half marathon on the keto. I actually improved by half an hour my time. And I was not sore at all. I did not bring any food with me. I just brought a little bit of electrolytes with me. The electrolytes, the Gatorade that you usually get during the race is not going to work for keto runners because it tends to be high in sugar. Again, because runners need sugar in order to keep their fuel. It tends to be high in sugar, and if they do give you the sugar-free stuff, which doesn't really make sense, it's most likely full of artificial sugar. So therefore, just bring your own electrolytes to just keep that up, and that's the only thing I need. I did not eat before, I did not eat during, and I didn't eat until about 2 hours after the half marathon when I got home and had time after shower and everything to make myself actually breakfast. My legs were not sore. I went right back to my regular training schedule the day after. So if you have maybe a gluten sensitivity, or if you like to try out running on fat, try it out. But it's going to be tough for the first month. And don't lose faith and don't lose trust. It will work out. But then again, everybody is different. So your body might resist longer. If you have been very carb dependent, it means if you have been eating lots and lots and lots of carbs, then your body might resist the change a lot longer than someone who already wasn't eating that many carbs. My body didn't really resist it that much because I had done the gluten-free experiment beforehand, and I had already started to cut down my carbs to breakfast only. So cutting that out at that point wasn't that much of a change. I just had to increase my fat, because you can't, low carb and low fat isn't really going to work that well. Especially in the beginning, your body needs to realize that it's getting more fat, so that's what it's supposed to be, running on. That's what it's supposed to be used as fuel. So later on, you can maybe drop down a little bit on the fat content, but still keep that higher than your carbs. So give it a try, have some faith, and enjoy your next one.